stepping set for Tai Chi is from the move Snake Creeps Down. And I'm going to show you a couple variations on this one because one of them is a little bit more demanding and requires more leg strength and flexibility. Not everyone can do that one, so there's another option that you can do that's a little bit easier on your knees and on your legs and doesn't require as much flexibility, which kind of makes it a little bit easier and more accessible for everyone. So we're going to start with the harder one, and then we'll show the easier one next. So Snake Creeps Down, this is going to be done the same as it would be done in the 24 form. There are other ways that it can be done. Obviously, just like with the other sets, match it to the way that your style does or the way that your form that you're working on does it to make it useful to you in the Tai Chi that you practice. For my students, this is how we'll practice it, and this is how I'll expect you to do in your grade. So the first thing to be aware of with the low stance is when you're going into this stance, one of the legs is going to be super bent, the other one is going to be basically not bent at all. But when you do this, you don't want this knee to push out way over here, because that's going to stress this outside of the knee, and you don't want it to push in like this, because that's going to stress the inside of the knee. You want it basically over this toe when you sit down, so it's all lined up and it's supported like it should be. This other leg comes out to the side. Try to keep the foot as flat as possible. Don't do this with it. Don't rock up on the heel. It's there. The other thing to be aware of is this heel is not up. It's down flat. And that's something that when people are trying to go lower than their body is ready for, a lot of times they will lift that back heel or they'll let this roll in like that. Don't do those things. That's bad form. It's bad for your balance, and it's not the way you want to practice this. So when you come down, you want to be in a stance like this if you're going super low. If your legs aren't that strong and you aren't that flexible, an exercise that you can do to start getting you ready for that is just bend the knees as far as you can comfortably. Put your hands on your knees, shift to one side as far as you can go, again being careful not to push that knee far out here. Bring it over the foot, there. And then shift to the other side, there. And just go back and forth, stretching the inside of your leg and helping strengthen the other leg. And just support your upper body with your arms. As that gets a little bit easier, try reaching down, grabbing your feet, and then shift as far as you can to one side, and then as far as you can to the other. And just work on going lower and lower until you can do that fairly easily from side to side. And then when you can do that okay, pick up the hands and go side to side without the hands. And that'll help strengthen your legs to get ready for this move if you're wanting to go low with it. If you're not bothered about going low, you're okay with keeping it up high, we have a variation for you also that we're going to work on at the end of this video, as I mentioned before. So I'm going to start over here, giving you a side view of what this is going to look like. And again, it's just like we do in the 24 form. So we start, right hand in a hook, left hand gently touching the wrist, left leg in. I'm going to step out with the left leg, and as I do that, my left hand slides in toward the armpit, this way. Here. My hand sinks down, and I sink the rest of the way here, follows along the leg, and as it comes up, I'm going to hook over the top with this right hand, there. From here I rock back, turn the foot out, come up to rooster stands on one leg, right hand, right leg drop. I'm going to pivot to the left, my left hand comes over the top, right hand comes up underneath, and they meet over here. So I'm doing an exact mirror image of how I started. Now instead of my right hand in the hook, my left hand is, my right hand's gently touching the wrist, all my weight's on the left leg, and I'm going to step out with the right leg this time. So this time when I step out, my right hand comes in toward the armpit. Here, I sink down as my right hand follows along my side down toward the floor. Follow along the leg with the right hand. Then as I come up, my left hand hooks in, my right hand comes up. Here. Rock back, turn the foot out, up into rooster stands on one leg. Then I'm going to do it again on the right side. So the right hand comes over the top, left underneath. I pivot, Now I'm right back where I started, and I would do it all again. Slide out, sink down, follow the leg, come up, rock back, turn the foot out, and come up. One more time. From here, the right side comes down, left comes over the top, right hand comes up to meet the left wrist. Slide out with the right leg, right hand comes in toward the armpit, sink down, the right hand drops down, follows the right leg. As I come up, this left hand scoops in, here. Rock back, turn the foot, and come through. So that's what it looks like from the side. As you can see, it's a little complicated, but if you're used to this move from a form that you're practicing, or if you're one of my students, if you're used to this move from the Tai Chi 24 form, the biggest tricky part is switching from over here, coming down, to switching back to this side, because we don't actually do that specific change in the form. So maybe spend a little bit of extra time on that one, going from the rooster stands on one leg with the right leg down, dropping the left side, bringing the right over, and bringing the left up to meet it. Something that you'll notice while I do this form coming toward you, when I step out, I'm not stepping out on exactly the same line. This foot that's coming out is going back just a little bit. It's not going back a whole lot. I don't want to leave this open and turn this into a really strange stance. But when I come out, it goes back just a little bit to allow me room to sink down. And when I come up, then my feet will be on either side of my center line to give me stability this way. If I come out on exactly the same line, when I turn into this, my feet are going to be on the same line, and it's going to be an unstable stance. So be sure when you come out that this foot drops back just a little bit as it comes out. So I'll start the right hand in the hook posture, weight on the right leg, left leg on the toe, left hand up, touching the wrist. I'm going to slide out at the same time this left hand slides in, coming down the arm toward my body. Here. I sink down as the left hand drops. Left hand follows down the left leg. As it comes up, I hook in with this right hand here. Then I rock back, left foot to the side, just like we did in the rooster stands on one leg, doing the exact same thing. Shift forward, right side comes up. The right side drops, putting just enough weight on this right foot to pivot so that I'm facing the opposite direction. So from here, here, and as I pivot, the left hand comes over the top. Then I shift my weight back to the left leg as this finishes. Slide out with the right leg, right hand comes in, here, sink down, follow the right leg, left hand comes over the top as the right comes up, here. Rock back, push the foot to the side, shift, come through. So here's the tricky transition. This drops, pivot to the right hand comes over the top, left comes up underneath, here. Slide out, sink down, follow the left leg, and come up. Rock back, push the foot to the side, come through. One more. Right side goes down, left hand comes over the top, here. Slide out, sink down, follow the leg, this hand scoops in, and come up. Rock back, push to the side, and come through. So that was the more difficult way of doing it. Some people are into that. They have that flexibility. They have that strength. They're really into those low stances. And it can be a lot of fun to do it that way. It's an excellent leg workout. If you're not one of those people that enjoy going that low or enjoy those those kinds of leg workouts, then we have this other variation of the same move. So I'm going to do it the same in both directions so you can see what it looks like. This one, it's a really good idea to make it really choppy at first. Go move 1, 2, 3 through, rather than trying to make it flow at first. After you have it down in individual segments, then make it flow. And if you do it that way, it won't be as easy for you to lose some of the movements. I'm not sure why it happens, but a lot of times when people learn this movement, they tend to rush through it a little bit, especially when they keep it up high. And so some of the detail of the movement is lost because they're trying to just get through the move. So really break it down and count it out. Go choppy at first, and when you have that down pat, then you can go smooth with it. So we start the same way, right hand up in kind of this bird beak posture. Left hand's touching the wrist, weights on the right leg, left leg's in. I slide out with the left leg, pulling the left hand in, just like before. But instead of stepping way out, I'm only going to step out part way. So here. With most of my weight still on the right leg, I sink down. Notice how this leg is just bending now, instead of staying straight as I come down. And this left hand follows down the right side of my body. I bring the left hand across, and as I do this, my weight still stays on this right leg mostly, and this front leg turns out. This left hand comes across to right next to that left knee. Then as I shift my weight forward, I'm going to set that foot down, this hand hooks over the top, and I shift through there. Way easier on the legs, way easier on the flexibility. Rock back the same, turn the foot out, rooster stands on one leg. Transition is the same, the right side drops down, left comes over the top, the right hand comes up to meet it, slide out as far as is comfortable, sink down as far as is comfortable. As you turn, the right hand comes forward, next to the right knee, and as you shift forward, this hand scoops in again. The right hand comes up. Here, be careful that you aren't letting that knee go out past the toe. Make sure that you keep it back so it's safe. Back, turn the foot, come through. Transition, left side drops, right hand hooks over the top, and they meet over here. Slide out, 1, sink down, 2, turn, 3, shift forward, 4. And step through. Right side drops down, left circles over the top, the right comes up to meet it, slide out, sink, turn, shift. Rock back, turn the foot, and step through. So that's what it looks like from the side. And be sure to split it up. Count it out. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. After you can do it like that, really, really, really easily, and you aren't skipping any movements, then you can make it flow. All the way through. But until you have it down really well, taking it piece by piece, don't try to make it flow. Just take my word for it, it just gets confusing that way. One thing to be careful of with this one, I don't know why, but it's another trick that our body plays on us. For some reason, the idea of getting low gets kind of stuck in our head, even if we're doing the high stance. And come out, and so this happens. And somehow that translates in our minds that we're getting lower. Really what you're doing there is you're giving away your balance. You're taking your center of gravity, and instead of keeping everything structured over that, you're taking a big chunk of your body weight and putting it out over this empty space. So one thing that does is it compromises your balance. The other thing that it does is puts a lot of extra strain on your lower back, which is another thing we don't need. So when you do this, you slide out, sink down with a straight back. Here. Turn and come through. You notice when I went lower here that I tend to shift forward a little bit. With this one, you do have to shift a little bit. You don't want to be like this as you do it, but you do need to counterbalance your weight so that you're not falling on your butt when you go down low. So you do have to take your center of gravity and your body's weight and shift it a little bit with a straight back still. And you don't want to throw it out there. But when you do this one, you don't have to counterbalance. You're right over your base. So as you come out, when you sink down, keep your back straight. Turn and come through. Rock back, turn the foot out. Rooster stands on one leg. Right side drops down. Left circles over the top. Here. Slide out. Sink. Straight back still. Turn. Come through. Rock back. Turn the foot out. Shift to the right leg. Bring the left leg through. Left side drops. Right hand comes over the top. Here. Slide out. As the left leg goes out, left hand comes in. Bend the knees. Turn. The weight's still mostly on the right leg. Then as you shift, the weight shifts more to the left leg. Come back. Turn the front foot. Come through. Right side drops. Left hand comes up. Right hand comes up to meet it. Slide out. Sink down. Turn. So that's the slightly easier variation of it. Something that can be tricky on this one is that hand transition as you're turning. It's fairly simple if you just think about one arm doing a circle up and down, the other arm doing a circle down and up. So it's this and they meet. Sometimes what I tell my students is think of it as like a Pac-Man mouth over here that has to close. So as this hand comes over, this one comes under, and they meet up to close the mouth. Then you can do your move, come through, and then here, the right hand drops. It's going to be the bottom part, or maybe the jaw of the mouth. This is going to be the top part of the mouth as it comes through, here, and then this mouth closes, there. Then I can go through my snake creeps down move. So that's the snake creeps down line drill. That one's excellent as a leg workout. It's also very relaxing if you do the higher stance with it, and it's excellent for coordination too. So hopefully you find this very helpful and useful in your practice time at home. Thank you for watching.